So, we don't play road games often, but when we do, we choose top 10 teams. That just came to me. But no, I think any game in conference is a war. Certainly games on the road are even more. And so that's what's next for us. And so we've got two big tests this weekend.
And this one's kind of a two-part question, and obviously I'm jumping ahead a little bit here to Stanford, but Tara's got a shot to break the all-time wins record for a coach when you guys play Sunday. What would that mean for women's basketball? And B, what is that like for the opposing coach to be in opposing team to be in a situation like that where, the home team is, playing for this record, you got the crowd and everything. What's that like for the other team?
I mean, certainly there's lots of hype around it, and for good reason. Tara's a legend and has been around a while and has had a ton of success, and that's one of the joys of this job and playing at this level is you're playing against people that are great at what they do. And she's great at what she does. And it's been, to this point, a lot of fun over the years to compete against her and her teams, and they have a lot of talent always. And so this weekend, it's kind of like you guys asking me, when I got a milestone record earlier this year, what it means. And it means I've been here a long time and been fortunate to have success. And for that reason, I'm just, I was grateful, so I'm sure that's how she feels. I think, any milestone wins are awesome. And, I know that for our sport, it means a lot for women's basketball to have that record. And there's no doubt she'll have it at some point. Certainly we hope it's not Sunday. And for us, it's always a fun challenge to go down there. And this Sunday will be no different.
And then the last question I have is, you've been playing a lot of players, obviously, this season. At any point, do you expect to shorten the rotation, or do you think this is sustainable, throughout, the rest of the season and into the tournament?
Yeah, well, there have been times with our team where we have shortened the rotation. I mean, there's been games where not everyone has played, and I think I have enjoyed that opportunity to use our roster when I can, and then choose the lineup that I think will give us the best chance to win in that circumstance at other times. And so that's been the dance. That's been the challenge with this group because this is a deep team. This is a team that's hungry, that has a lot of weapons. And, each game kind of takes on its own personality and identity and need, and so I'm not sure exactly, what Friday night will hold for us. It's kind of by feel many times. I don't go into a game with a scripted rotation. I go in the game with a feel on what I probably will do, at least initially, and then the game just kind of plays itself out, and then we make adjustments as we go. Like whose night is it tonight, and who's the best matchup at this time. And, as we've been working through who we are as a team, relatively new together, relatively young, nice mix anyway, that has been a big part of our story so far, is to go with the group that's going to get it done and give us the best chance at this time, and then choose other opportunities to really work on development. So I think, I'll just keep that up, and see, okay, what is Friday night demand? What is Sunday demand? And then we'll go from there.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll go to Ron Callan, and then we'll go with Isaac. Still muted there, Ron.
Go. Hey, Scott, regarding Friday night, I was going through the Cal stats and looking at their videos. The transfer from USF, she's from Greece, the student athlete Cremini. She's only played like 8 games, but she seems like she's making a pretty big impact. How important is she to Cal?
Well, what's interesting is her second collegiate game was here in Gill Coliseum, in front of cardboard. And it was before our cardboard fans had really grown. So it was a sparse cardboard crowd at that point of the year. And she took that opportunity to go 7 of 10 from 3 against us in that game. And so I got to know her real well right off the bat. And here she is again, in a different uniform across the bay. And she is, she's a great player. She has the ability to obviously shoot it, but she's a wing point guard. She's kind of whatever you need her to be. She's physical. So I think she's a big part of what they do. I think she's a great playmaker and a great decision maker, and they put her in a lot of situations to make plays for them. And so she's a definite key to this game. We need to limit her.
Real quick, one more question from me. I think it was like early 2015, maybe late February, when you were in Berkeley and you picked up that first Pac-12 title thanks to Allie Gibson and others. What are your memories about that weekend?
Standing outside waiting to find out, if we were Pac-12 champs. I know, that was kind of a stressful game. It was us, and I want to say Arizona State. We were dependent upon somebody else that day, and I can't remember, but I just remember getting the win and almost a sigh of relief because I knew we were supposed to win that game. We did, but we had to wait to kind of learn our fate a little bit. And so I remember going outside, and it was a nice day in baseball. There was a baseball game, and so I stood out kind of on that patio outside of Haas Pavilion next to the baseball field by myself, because it was just kind of a stressful thing. And then going inside once we found out and celebrating with everybody in Cal's donor room. So a great day. Memorable.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, we'll go Isaac and then Aaron.
Howdy, Coach. I promise I won't throw any incorrect stats at you today. But just kind of, last time I talked with you, we talked about Kennedy Shuler. You called her one of the players of the game from that double overtime win. She plays super high minutes again and, racks up 6 assists against ASU. What have you continuing to see from her, and what's keeping her on the court?
Well, I tell everybody to make me play you, and that means you're locked down defensively. That means you're taking care of business on that end, and offensively you're taking care of the ball and you're playing within your game, and you're efficient. And that's what she's bringing to us, her understanding of what this is and what we need from her, especially at the point position. It just seems to be syncing up to where the game's becoming so easy and natural, and she's learning so quickly. She communicates well. She gets us into our stuff, so she's playing like a veteran at a young age. But I don't know. I just felt like both games on the weekend, they were just huge steps forward, coming off the UCLA momentum that she had created through her minutes. And, I just have complete confidence in her ability to compete at a high level. She's such a great competitor, and she brings toughness to the floor. So, yeah, she's earning everything.
Yeah, we've talked about it earlier in the season, kind of when we started throwing around rankings talk, and, you kind of denied it, said it's not really that big of a deal to you. This week, you're the highest other receiving votes, but still outside the top 25. Is that something you're using as motivation right now, or do you still just not really care?
Well, it's beyond our control. I think this team has proven that, our 2 losses are, a 2-point game at USC on their home floor that, was definitely winnable, but we were right there, and then we battled UCLA, who's obviously second or whatever they're ranked right now, or what they were anyway. And so those are our 2 losses, and we've taken care of business in every other instance, and probably people would say done what we're supposed to do, or maybe even beyond, maybe people's expectations. So you look at, our nets 22, our RPI is 17, and me, I always like to throw Massey in. Massey, we're 21. So I know we're right there, and sometimes the public opinion takes a while to get, and then once you get it, sometimes it takes a while to lose. It's just one of those things, and so so all we can do is just take care of business night after night, and that type of thing will play itself out. And so worrying about it would be a waste of time. Would it be nice to be ranked? Of course. of course, it's always nice to be ranked, and so I think the people that have watched us would say, you're probably a team that deserves to be ranked. And so, we'll just keep getting better, and that's the most important thing.
Sure. Just in regards to the weather as of late, has that had any effect on your your guys' travel plans, your practice schedules?
We moved practice up a couple hours yesterday, just because we knew a little bit more weather was coming and we wanted to get people home before that. Today we're back to normal, and it seems like it's warming up. So it seems like this deal seems to be over. It seems to be, who knows? Not a weatherman, but no, hasn't really impacted us other than no fans.
What was that like? Was that kind of like 2020 vibes again, or?
That was a lot like this right here. It's unfortunately we know how to do this. I hate that we know how to do this. Even though it's great to see you all, the in-person thing is what this program's all about, the relationship, all that stuff. So no fans is absolutely depressing. It made sense, of course. I mean, we all had a challenge getting into the building that day. And so we get it, but yeah, that's definitely not fun. And I never want to do that again.
For sure. And my last one, your guard depth this year has been pretty incredible between, AJ, Talia with, Adley shooting pretty well from behind the arc, and, obviously Dominica and Kennedy. Just how are you feeling about the guard depth on this team and their, ability to grow over their next 4 years here in Corvallis?
Yeah. And Lily. Lily's
Lily's well.
Yeah. And so that's the beauty of this team. We have a lot of depth at every position, and that's what you need. That's what every great team does. And so for this group, there's such a healthy, it's the healthiest level of competition within a team that I think I've ever even been a part of. I mean, and I know it's been a lot of years, but it's hard to remember feeling this feeling of just everybody's each other's biggest fan, yet there is a healthy competition that's underlying, that's really pushing everyone. Because if you don't take care of business, probably somebody else is going to. And man, that is so good. We should all crave that in life, to be slightly uncomfortable while you're taken care of and you're comfortable in that way. I mean, that's a hard thing to find in life, and this team has that. And so there's no ego. It's just come in, take care of business, and I better be on my A game, most of the time at least. And so it's making us a better team every day in practice, as in addition to the games. And so we're in a really good place as a group right now.
Sure.
Thanks, Aaron, and then Trevor.
We can still do fist bumps over the Zoom camera, right, Scott? Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. Just going back to the LA trips, just what did you like about the way that your team responded, and what lessons do you feel like they learned on that trip that you guys are taking into this weekend? Well,
losing is miserable, and so it's just a good reminder of that, I think, and that's a nice motivation. It also inspired hope. It was, those were two really fun games to be a part of, even though we did come up short. It was also, I think, probably just reinforced everything that we've been talking about and all the lessons we've been talking about, that, the margin for error is very small in this league, and you're going to pay for every mistake. And so the level that you have to operate with is so tight and so quick, and, the windows close so quickly offensively, defensively. You can't miss a box out. You can't make a mistake. You can't take so all of those things that make a team great, were reinforced that weekend. And then we had a week to work on it. And then we find a way to beat Arizona in a crazy game, and then take care of business in style on Sunday. So I think in a way it was just kind of, the team couldn't not have handled it any better, than they did. And it's created momentum as we're heading into this weekend.
And with the weather just being so wild, that's why we're here. Was there any opportunity for the players to get in the gym more with classes being canceled, or maybe watch a little extra film? And has that also changed any of your travel arrangements going forward?
Yeah, everything's normal. We're on schedule with everything. And, I'm not we've been in and out. And so I don't know if more shots have gotten up, or not. It's probably nice to be able to rest a little bit. I mean, the grind has been significant since we got back from Christmas. And so for everybody just to kind of be home has probably been an okay thing for everyone. And then certainly, like back to the circus of COVID, I mean, it was kind of similar. You're locked in your place, can't go anywhere, and then come to the gym and it's like a celebration because you get to be with people. And, so our practices the last 2 days have been great.
Trevor, you're up, and then Les.
Hey, Scott, I got a couple questions for you. The rebounding numbers just continue to be excellent. You're fifth in the nation in rebounding margin, and the top four is almost looks like the exact top four of the AP top 25. So just curious, how important of a stat is that to you? How much do you emphasize it, and what do you attribute that to beyond the obvious answer of having Reagan beers?
Well, having more to go along with her for sure. I mean, to me, is rebounding at an extremely high level. Kelsey has been great on the boards and competes for every rebound as well. And then our guards have done a nice job rebounding, and Sela's really coming along, as our other big. And so it's an emphasis within our program. We've talked about defense from day one, it has to be the top priority. Great teams are great defensive teams, unless maybe you're the number one offensive team. Then it can be secondary, but it can't be a nothing. It has to be something. And with our group, the way that we've committed to the defensive end of the floor and the way that we play defense, our defensive rebounding numbers typically are always high when we're taking care of business. This group has done a pretty good job on the O boards as well. Ray will joke that a lot of hers are cleaning up her shots. And that's kind of a fun thing within our team. But, this team has committed to that, and they want to be great. And so they're like, what will it take? Let's do that. We're going to be challenged this weekend for sure. Both Cal and Stanford are great offensive rebounding teams. And so we've got a big test. And so that area of our game needs to notch up, just a little bit going into the weekend.
And also just curious about the mood of this team right now. I mean, you come off those two losses, then a really emotional game against Arizona that really took a lot. And then you match a season high for points against Arizona State. I mean, what's the mood right now? Is it intense? Is it locked in? Is it loose? Is it having fun? What does it look like for you guys right now, just with that roller coaster of the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, I was really impressed with the way the team managed adversity. Coming into last week, we could have been down. We could have been, I don't know. It could have been a somber atmosphere, and it wasn't. It was kind of mad a little bit, and like a healthy competitive mindset, and let's go. How do we need to get better so that doesn't happen again? And that's how it remained. I think this team has taken everything kind of in stride all year. They're just great people. I would say the word that describes them is mature. I mean, they approach everything maturely. And so never too high, never too low, just kind of right. What do we need to be right now? They don't need big motivational speeches. They need just to be reminded sometimes, but the effort that they give and the way that they approach the game is what you would hope from a team, and is what any coach would beg for, so this is a group that wants to get better. So they've remained coachable. They're not taking stuff personal when they're corrected. They're just like, okay, let's go. And then there's a growing accountability within the group, as this team continues to bond and, see each other as a great team. They understand that's important. And so that's another great thing that's developing right before our eyes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Les, all you, and then we'll close out with Nick Orsini.
All right. Reagan obviously matched to the program record with the 20 rebounds. Of all the bigs that have gone before her, who does she remind you of? Or does she not really remind you of anybody?
It's a good question. Her as a human, she reminds me of Ruth. She reminds me, just kind of, I don't know, as a personality wise. As a player, she's got a mobility and an impact like Marie. A little bit more versatile. Obviously, she's guardish. She can bring the ball up the floor. That was Marie. Marie had both hands around the basket. She could dominate the boards from the beginning, and then developed a perimeter shot as she went and became more and more complete. And so I see Ray more on that trajectory, just because of her guardish abilities. And so those are two pretty big compliments, but she deserves them.
And specifically on the rebounding, what makes her such an effective rebounder?
Well, I mean, if you've seen her catch passes in transition, where the ball's just sailing. I mean, our guards could throw, it seems like, any pass they want, and she's going to come down with it. She has a timing and such strength in her hands to catch anything. And so that is the same thing, that rebounding is. It's like, go up and get it, have great timing so you can high point it, get it at the highest point. And then, she just has incredible balance, so that allows her to withstand contact, stay on balance, jump and elevate, and come down with the ball. And so just all that timing, feel, and strength. I mean, that's what makes her who she is. I mean, she's a remarkable athlete. And yeah, I mean, all those things are really fun to watch, and so for guards, just to know you can throw it in, the post is going to catch it. Speaking as a guard, that's special.
All right, Nick, you can close us out here with Scott, and then we'll get to the players.
Cool. Might as well, Scott, add one more Reagan Beers question. In terms of, obviously, the Arizona was the game that, I'm looking at it like 42 minutes. But other than that, I mean, it kind of fluctuates in terms of, 30 minutes, 29 or so, like that. How important is it when, you have a big lead and you're able to kind of get her out to keep her fresh? Because, yeah, I don't want to look too far past Cal. The Cameron Brink matchup's going to be fun. But how important is it to, not keep her out on the court when you don't necessarily need to?
Well, I mean, I think that's true of anyone. And, I can just tell you that I love the opportunity to play her as much as I want. And I think managing minutes is something everybody does. And I think it's important, but man, these athletes they're so incredible that I even playing 40 every night is realistic. And I don't know how much, their game would suffer if we needed to do that. And that's certainly been done and is done on many teams, and so I think the depth of our team has allowed us to rest people and play them at their absolute strength, for longer minutes. Kelsey's emergence at both the 4 and the 5 has allowed us to do that. Her versatility, now Sela coming along, has allowed us to do that, and they both give a different look. And then we could go small and I can play Tamia there as well, and so this team's versatility allows us to keep everybody at our peak. But it didn't surprise me that Ray was able to be as effective as she was, the other night, playing, 44 minutes, like you said. She's a very well-conditioned athlete, like everyone is on our team.
And then just lastly, you and Cal sitting, I think it's 5 and 6 in the conference. They're coming off a pretty bad loss to Utah. Just when you look at them on film, what do you see and what do you kind of expect from them on Friday night?
Yeah, I see a dangerous team is what I see. And that's a team that beat us down there a year ago. I like the energy that they play with. I thought they started the Utah game with a lot of defensive energy. And then Utah just kind of wore them down towards the end of that first quarter. And then Utah played so fast, it kind of cracked them. And they were able to get away from them. But, you got great guard play, of course. I mean, veteran point guard, and you've got posts that can shoot it inside and out. And then you've got wings that can handle it like point guards. So, and I'll shoot it, so there's no nights off. So it's not hard to be ready for Cal, knowing that Stanford Sunday, those days are over, where you might overlook one to the other. No way. These are going to be 80 minutes of absolute, great competition. And it would be a mistake to rest on any of them. We can't take 1 minute off. So I like what I've seen from Cal. They swept the Washingtons at home 2 weeks ago. And so, yeah, they're a very good team.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks,
gonna
everybody.
mute your mic here and we'll get one of the players
Be
up.
safe.
All right, we have Tama Gardner here. If you have a question for Tama, can you hit that raise hand button and we'll get rolling. All right, Isaac, go ahead and bat lead off here.
Cool. So howdy, Tamia. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, braving the weather down here. But yeah, I wanted to ask you guys about it. How's that been affecting you guys?
Yeah, it's been a little bit scary, getting to practice and such, but they've started to put ice a little bit, not ice, but salt on the roads, so it's getting a little bit more safe, but still a little bit kind of iffy out there. So
Sure, you said ice on the roads. How many of you guys drive to practice, or are you mostly within walking distance?
well, the majority of us scooter. So that's been an absolute no. But yeah, I feel like a lot of us have cars, and so but a lot of us don't have experience driving in ice or like snow. And so a lot of the coaches actually have picked some of my teammates up. I've drove personally, being from Utah, I'm used to this. So but yeah.
For sure. Yeah, coach said that you guys only had to push practice back a couple hours up in the schedule, but in regards to not having any fans at the game, what was that experience like?
Yeah, it was kind of reminiscent of COVID. I mean, I didn't play during that time in college, but it's kind of interesting hearing the older players' perspectives on what it was like to play in COVID, and it was very similar to them. It was cool to have our families there, though. They sat right behind the bench, so that was kind of fun. And then our scout guys were able to come as well. And so we kind of had a little bit of a close-knit game with the fans, but they were super loud regardless. And so it was just it was fun, easier than expected for sure.
Yeah, of course. Just kind of looking over this season compared to last year, you guys have already surpassed last year's win total. What's that been like so far?
Yeah, last year we obviously it didn't pan out how we wanted it to. And so with us, the people that played last year, we know what it takes. And we kind of took it as a learning opportunity. And so this year we're just like, hey, let's go. We know what it takes now. And let's just bring along the others. And so we have a different mentality this year as well. And we believe that we're just as good as anybody else.
For sure. And, last question for me is we talked with coach about where you guys fall in the rankings. You're 14-2. Your only two losses are two ranked teams that you played competitively against in both. You're still not cracking the top 25, albeit, you're the highest receiving votes team. So you're 26, but how's that feeling you guys right now? How's that feeling? Are you guys wanting to, overcome that and jump up, or?
Yeah, obviously rankings. I mean, it'd be nice to be ranked, but we're not really worried about the outside noise right now. We're just worried about what's happening in this program and what we can do to for our next game.
Cool. That's all I've got. Thanks.
All right, we'll go Aaron and then Les.
Hey, Tamia. Just Scott talked about, after your guys' losses in LA, just how it kind of reinforced everything from you guys, for you guys. When you guys responded against Arizona and Arizona State, just what do you feel like you maybe learned from that road trip experience that you guys are kind of taking into this weekend?
Absolutely. We learned the attention to detail, how important it is to make sure that we're on scout to the T. And so understanding that, especially against ranked opponents, if you make one mistake, you'll pay for it. And so just understanding the importance of paying attention to the extreme details for sure was definitely something that we grew in.
And I know for sure that last year you kind of had to watch a lot of those really close road losses, knowing how important it is to, if you want to be a ranked team, if you want to do really, really well in the postseason, you have to kind of get some of those road wins. So as a leader on this team now this year, how have you kind of made sure that the team really does focus on those details heading into this weekend?
Yeah, for sure. I think holding each other to a standard and holding my teammates to a certain standard where we know that we can exceed expectation is definitely something that has changed this year for sure in the mentality of our team. As I said before, a lot of us experienced a lot of loss last year. And so this year it's like we're ready to go and we know what it takes. And so understanding that and bringing the others along and making sure that they understand that as well is a really big deal this year.
And as wild as this weather is, I know you're used to it, but probably some of your teammates aren't. Even the Oregonians, you know, we have never really like experienced something like this, even since I've lived here. Just how have you guys been able to kind of take advantage of there being no classes? And Scott said it was kind of nice to just have you guys rest a little bit and not have to maybe worry about school, maybe put in some extra preparation for this weekend. Have you guys, you feel like you've taken advantage of that?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like me personally, I've definitely taken advantage of it for school wise, making sure that I'm getting ahead on my studies for sure. Getting extra shots up as well, being safe, obviously getting to the facility, but yeah, just making sure that we can use the time as effectively as we can.
All right, Les, and then Trevor.
To me, that was such a dramatic win Friday night against Arizona. What's the mood in the locker room after a game like that? And what does it mean to a team to kind of maybe feel like you got away with one or you pulled one out of the hat or however you're looking at it?
Yeah, we absolutely believe we could win that game. And so we honestly felt a little bit emotionally drained after that game because it was a lot of highs and a little bit of lows as well. And so in the locker room, though, we still had enough energy to be super hyped after the game. And it was a huge win. Credit Arizona, they're a great team. But yeah, we were super excited and we took what we learned from that game and we were on to the next.
And this week, there are 4 Pac-12 teams in the Associated Press top 10. Just the challenge of every week facing this level of competition. What are you learning from that and taking from that?
Yeah, Pac-12, I mean, it's a great conference, top to bottom. And so every night is going to be a challenge. And it's super exciting because every night is going to be different. And so, but a different challenge every night, you know? And so it's exciting to step up to the challenge and to kind of figure out each night because every night's going to be different. And so, yeah, it's a great conference top to bottom and it's a pleasure to be part of it.
All right, Trevor, you can close us out and then we'll get to Kennedy.
Cool. Ask Scott about this as well, but I mean, the rebounding numbers are excellent. You're 5th in the nation in rebounding margin. Is that a stat that you think about a lot as a team? And what do you attribute that number to?
Absolutely. I feel like it's a stat that is kind of underrated a little bit. I think that the more rebounds you get, the more possessions you get, the more opportunity you get to score. And so just Scott really emphasizes us getting to the glass defensively and offensively just so we can get those extra possessions that are needed. And yeah, I love rebounding. Our team loves rebounding. And so it's definitely a stat that we look at for sure.
All righty. Thank you, Tamia. I'll mute you here and then we can
Hello, everyone.
Alrighty. Thanks for doing this, Kennedy.
Yeah.
We are going to move a little bit quickly here. So if we can keep questions fairly brief, I have to make sure that Kennedy and Tamia make it to weights on time. So we're going to start with Les. And if you have a question, please hit that raise hand button and we'll get rolling.
Kennedy, your freshman year, how do you feel like things are progressing? And what do you think has made a difference in kind of your breakout over the last few games?
Yeah, my freshman year, it's been a lot of fun, lots of growth, and it has its lows, it has its highs, and just being surrounded by amazing people and my teammates has just made it amazing. I think personally, just gaining confidence, getting in my extra shots, and just mental reps and visualizing, yeah, and just going in and just staying ready, when my team needs me.
Aaron and then Isaac.
Hey, Kennedy, you got a chance to go on your first Pac-12 road trip, which was a tough one, to the LA schools. What have you kind of learned from that experience that you're kind of taking into this weekend?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I'm super glad I got to experience it. I think kind of off of what Tamia said, just the importance of executing. Scott, like that was a big lesson for us, is just executing on both ends of the floor, how important it is. We're going to pay for every mistake we make. And just, diving into, afterwards, we learned a lot from watching film and stuff. So it was super good. I think it was a big growth, a big step for us. And we got back to practice the following week and just got after it. So it was good.
Go ahead, Isaac.
Hey, Kennedy. I asked Coach about the kind of the depth of this guard room, this group of guards, and he said you guys are so strong from top to bottom, and that there's a lot of healthy competition in that room right now. Can you just kind of speak to that? What's been like, with a lot of you young guys in that guard core?
Yeah, it's super unique and special. We all are super close, best friends. But when we're on the court, we obviously battle against each other, and we want to make each other better. I think each day we just go into practice and work our butts off, honestly. And just during the games, like it doesn't matter who steps up. Like we all have each other's backs, and everybody's just got to stay ready. And it might be someone's game one game, and then the next person, another girl goes off, and that's what's special about us. And it keeps our fire going.
All right, unless anybody else has something, I'm going to make sure that we keep Jeff Macy happy and send everybody over to the SBC. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being flexible with us and doing this on Zoom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kennedy. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Have a good lift.
Thanks, Andrew.